Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let's actually get straight into the chart segment. And now what I'm going to do in this segment here is, instead of giving you a market update, I want to just teach you some really simple things you can start to apply to the way that you're reading these markets, the way that you can see these markets, how I apply my analysis when it comes to trend analysis and drawing my trend lines and all that sort of stuff. And hopefully you guys can learn some things that I do within my own trading that's really helped me within my trading. So I'm just gonna go through some stocks, maybe some of the Amazon and Netflix and Facebook. And I'm just gonna apply my analysis to that, like I would when I'm doing my analysis. And hopefully you guys can gain some things that really help you simplify the markets. Now, the first thing I do say is that what you want to do is you want to make sure your chart is looking something like this, where you can see where there's really nothing on the screen. I find a lot of traders, they have these horizontal lines coming all through here as well. All these horizontal lines, they have like, you can see it says Apple up here, so that it will say Apple right here as well. They have a lot of things here. And then you'll find you have a lot of different indicators. So you might have the RSI down here, and then you might have the stochastics, and then the MACD, and all these sort of things. Then you might have your Bollinger Bands going through here, and then your moving averages going through here, and all that sort of things. As you can see, there's a lot of things on the charts. The most important thing to us as a trader is the actual price action in the chart itself. The indicators is not going to give us good entries. The chart is going to give us good entry. The power is in the chart itself. Not what we think, not what we hope, and not even the indicator. Because sometimes when you're looking at the RSI or the stochastics, you could get the stochastic coming over here to oversold, and then suddenly all the market does this, the market comes back down, and then suddenly the market goes for a big run again. So I have found personally is that when I'm trying to just analyze the charts and see what's really going on, I need to, one, remove everything off the screen. And as you can see through here, so whether you like candlesticks or just the open highlight close charts, it doesn't matter. What we're trying to look for when we're trying to analyze the charts is we're trying to just see what the market's doing. So that's why I have black bars, because I don't really care about this one individual bar. Now I do when I'm looking for an entry, but if I'm trying to gauge, okay, what's been going on for the last, say, 3 or 6 months, where's the trend analysis, how would I apply my trend lines, and all that sort of stuff. So firstly, bring it back to just a blank chart. We want to be able to just, as you can see, what's going on through here. And what we want to do is we want to bring up the last, say, 3, possibly even, say, 6 months of data, because that's the most important thing to us is what's been going on right now when we're looking for entries. We can apply some other techniques to that, such as looking at the weekly charts and so on and so forth. But right now I'm just going to really help you guys hone in on the sort of the first steps that I go through, which is just looking at the current market to get a gauge who's in control, where's the trend, and so on and so forth. So we have volume down the bottom here. I wouldn't worry about that too much. The most important thing is just the data here. And the first thing I would say is bring up, say, 3 months worth of data. That's going to give you a really good sort of view of what's been happening for the last 3 months. And when I'm looking at this chart, there's sort of a couple of references points that I can see. Firstly, I can see we've been in a very nice upward trend here in Apple, right? We've been up and down, up and down, up and down, had a little pullback, and now we had a bit of a gap up, and now we're running back up through here. So what I like to do is when I'm trying to find where are the levels of support, level of resistance, I try to start to apply some sort of levels through here. So if I go back to this last point down here for the last 3 months, and what I like to do also, guys, is I like to create a bit of a space. So I can see that we have a bit of a space up the top here and a bit of a space down the bottom. You can see where I've got my line here and my line here. That just gives me a little bit of room. So what I'm going to do is I would say I'll start with this last reference point, and then I'm going to try and connect. I can see how that there's these lows through here, and there's also a significant low through here. So that'll be the references point. I'm trying to see which one is the most relevant in the markets. I don't want too many trend lines. So the first one I'm going to draw is probably something going on through there. That would be the first trend line I would want to draw. Now, why would I draw that? So you can see why this is the first trend line I would draw. You can see how it starts at this bottom, but see how it's actually collected it all through there, collected it through this point through here, almost through that level through there. But you can see what happened. It broke down, resistance, resistance, and now broke back up. And now we're running back to the upside. So that'll be the first trend line I would use. And if I'm going to create a parallel trend line, I'm going to see if there's also a bit of a channel that's also been forming as of late. So you can see also there was also a bit of a channel that was also forming. So the reason why this is important is because these are significant reference point in the markets, as we can see right now. And if I'm going to extend this to the right. And so right now we can see that we had a little bit of rest, and the market's popped up, and now we're actually getting a little bit of a pullback. So as we get a bit of a pullback down towards this level, we may find a bit of support here. So that's actually a bit of a reference point for me. So what I'm always looking for is I'm looking for really high quality entry signals. And essentially what I'm looking for is, for me personally, is I'm either looking for the market to be in an upward trend, then they go through a bit of a pullback, and then they just give me a nice little breakaway bar, and I'm looking for something like that, or I'm looking for an extended period of sideways movement and then a breakaway bar. Now I apply some other analysis, and I need to go through my checklist. So I'm not telling you to place a trade based on this, guys. Make sure you do your analysis. But I need to see a few things. Firstly, I want to see that I'm actually trading with the trend. So this is what I'm doing here. Firstly, I'm looking at the 3 months for the view. And I also look at the weekly charts. I also look at, say, 1 year worth of view as well too. There's other steps that I do for my trading system. But to give you a bit of guidance is that this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the trade with the trend. And then what I'm also doing is I'm trying to find some form of a pullback, and then the market start to have a bit of a breakaway bar where it opens low, closes high, or we may go through a bit of a run, then a bit of a sideways period, and then we start to break out and we start to likely go for another run again. So again, I'm not gonna walk you through step by step of the entries and exits and all that sort of stuff. You can find a really simple trading system on YouTube, or if you go to johnsfreegift.com, you'll be able to get the free trading course. And in that trading course, I actually walk you through 3 powerful systems, and a very, very simple system I'm talking about right now. So those trend lines here would be the only trend lines I need to apply. So right now, if I'm looking at maybe trading Apple that is, guys, okay, over the last few videos I've done over the last couple of days, I've talked about my big picture sort of stuff, where my investing, where I'm just looking to buy and hold for a couple of years. I have sort of a 2-year view. This here is more of a short-term view. This is sometimes I'm in and out within a couple of days, and then I have sort of a trading system that gives me sometimes in and out within, say, a few months. Just depends on what the market does. So right now I can see there's actually nothing here at all. Because remember, I'm trading with the trend, but I need to see some form of a pullback first, and then see if I can re-enter there. So let's actually start to go through some other different stocks. Let's actually apply the exact same analysis to Amazon. So I'm going to erase all the trends off the screen. And as you can see, once again, what do we have here? We have, firstly, what do we have? We have 3 months worth of data. Just black bars, because it's not the individual candlestick or the individual bar I'm looking at. I'm trying to identify the highs, the lows, the trend analysis, and what may or may not be coming down the future. So once again, I'm now going to apply my analysis to the Amazon charts. So what do I see? I can see that we have a few references points. We can see we have this is the ultimate low. Then we have this a bit of a low point. So this will be the low point. I can see from this point here, we started to make a higher low, higher low, higher low, sort of a double bottom through here, and we've been going sideways, not much going on through here when it comes to Amazon. So what I would say, okay, I can see there's a bit of references points where I could probably draw my trend line. Again, guys, you don't want too many trend lines on your screen. And once again, I want to references. Notice how clean my chart is. There's not grid lines, there's not the code or the symbol in the background, there's not stochastics and all that sort of stuff. The most important thing is the chart, where support, resistance, trend analysis here. So all I'm going to do is because this is the lowest point before we started an upward trend, I'm just going to draw a trend line through here, and I'm just going to start to extend that up as much as possible. And I'm probably going to draw it through there somewhere, possibly even a bit lower. In fact, I'm going to start it from this low point. So as you can see, I'm going to start it with this low point, because this will be the major low point. And all I'm doing when I'm drawing my trend lines, I'm trying to see whether the market actually bounces off that level. Not because I want it there, but because the market respects it. And so if I bring my trend line up through to here on Amazon, you can see, what do we have? We have a low point, we have another low point, and we have a pullback, came down, support. We also have another low point through here. So as we can see that what I was saying before about the way that I trade is you can see how that when we have a bit of a pullback, the market goes for a run. So I'm always trying to trade, and here, as you can see, I'm always trying to trade. So when we have a run up, we get a bit of a pullback, I'm trying to get a nice little trade here. Or we may have a sideways period, there's a nice little breakaway bar, as I said before, and then away it goes. Now we're going into a bit of a trading range, a bit of a trading channel. And I also can see that there's probably a bit of a significant level of resistance going on through here, around about that level through there, which is that 3,250 level. And you can see how it's squeezing up into a bit of a triangle pattern now. So as you can see, hasn't been really doing much for the last, what is that? Just looking at my little Dubilucky thing over here. It's about 28 days. It was about 20 trading. It's about 20 trading days for about a month. Hasn't been really doing much. So what Amazon could be doing, and I'm not saying this is a trade setup, guys. I need to go through all my checklists, and I need to go through my 3-month, I need to go through my 12-month, and I need to look at my weekly charts to make sure that everything lines up. But as you can see, not much is going on through here. So if I start to, as I said before, I'm looking for either a pullback and then a breakaway bar, or I'm looking for a sideways and then a nice breakaway bar. So if Amazon gives me a nice little bullish up bar, which means it's a higher low and a higher high compared to this bar over here, it opens in the bottom sort of 1/3 and closes in the top 1/3, and we get a very nice increase in volume, there's a very high probability over the next 2 to 5 days we're going to see something like that with Amazon, and that'll be a nice little what we call a short-term trade. And roughly about a 70% success rate overall with something like that. Again, it's not definite, because if I look at my 12-month view, there could be a lot of things that I look for with that. So I'm not telling you that is a trade, guys. I'm just giving you some examples of looking at what I look for and what the market's doing. So as you can see, we can get some really nice little entry signals based on the chart itself, which is the most important thing. And moving averages and stochastics and RSIs and all that sort of stuff can help, but most of the time, in fact, 100% of the, probably 99% of the time, the best thing to do is, as you can see, what is the stock doing? Because that's the most important thing. It's not the stochastic being oversold or that sort of thing. So let's actually continue on here. Let's actually go to Tesla. Let's actually bring up Tesla. Let me actually bring up, once again, I'm going to bring up how long? I'm going to bring up the good old 3 months worth of view. And I can see we had a bit of a low point down here, and I can see we've been trending up and we've just been going sideways. So once again, I'm trying to identify where the market is going. Where we are right now. We're definitely in an upward trend. We definitely haven't been doing much now for, how long is that? Look at this here, nice little up move. You can see that we actually been going sideways once again for about 20 days. So I can see, once again, if I draw my trend line from this absolute low point down the bottom here, and if I draw this up through to there, I can definitely see that would be a trend line that I would want to use. And the reason why I would want to use something like that is, you can see it starts from this bottom, and then we start to create a little bit of a low. We start to create this little bit of a higher low, and now you can see we started to definitely start to see a very nice sort of movement to the upside, as you can see all through here, moving up, moving up, moving up, moving up. Once we actually broke this trend line, we started going sideways. So I wouldn't use that trend line there. And so what I'm going to do is I can also see that it could quite possibly be a bit of a channel going on through here. So once again, I'm not going to assume it. I'm just going to see if the market does. And sometimes the market won't. But if I create a little bit of a trend line and I bring this to the tops of this through there, I can definitely see that, look at this. So we have this resistance point back here. We have this resistance point back through here. So if I extend this to, let me just delete that off the screen. So if I extend this to the right, as I'm looking at with Tesla, is I can see Tesla right now has actually been going slightly down, getting very, very, very close to this other trend line, which could cause a bit of a support level. And I also can see that there's probably a bit of a drop to the downside. You can see all here, not much going on when it comes to Tesla. So I also can see that we have this reference point to the high side here, and this latest high through there. So I want to see, is there something like a bit of a trend line I can draw down through there? And so this would be the trend line I would want to use for the downside. Now, why would that be important for me? Because if I'm looking for a nice sort of short-term trade at a Tesla, and this continues to do this, where we continue to do this and this, you can see how we're squeezing up into a bit of a potential sort of squeezing up. If we get that, and then something we start to get something like that where it's breaking up, and we get a nice little low volume, and especially a nice little increase in volume, we get that. There's a very high probability we're likely to see something like that in a 2 to 5 day period, and probably even run back up towards our highs up here somewhere. There is a little bit of resistance up here around that 615, but this is just, again, guys, not to tell you to trade that, but just to give you some guidance on, once again, here are some simple things, guys. You can just see what happens through here when it comes to, you know, these markets and so on and so forth. You know, once again, guys, if I just take everything off the screen through here, once again, I'm looking for periods of what? When the market pulls back, and I'm looking for a nice little breakaway bar through here, or the market's going sideways, and then I'm looking for a nice little breakaway bar. It doesn't work all the time. You can see we had a little bit of sideways period through here, nice little breakaway bar, didn't do much for a few days, and then ran up. Had a nice little sideways period through here. Look at this here, nice little breakaway bar, and look at this here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 to 5 days later, made a nice move. You see what I'm saying through there, guys? And again, I'm just going through the charts, but it's a very, 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 very powerful system when you're looking at a short-term trade. Again, you're in and out 2 to 5 days. So if you did trade this one here, say you're using options, trading in the money options, 1, 2, maybe even 3 days later, you would have had maybe a 10 to 15, maybe 15, maybe 25, 20, maybe 15 to 20% loss trading in the money options because nothing really happened in that bar. Okay, there's a losing trade there. Move on. Okay, here's another entry signal, sideways. We've got a nice little upward trend going through here. It's been going sideways, nice little breakaway bar. 1, 2, 3 bars later, and that probably would have given you maybe 100%, maybe more profits. So in two trades, one gave you a minus 20%, and the next one gave you probably next one gave you 100% return, maybe even more, but 100% return, you're still left with 80% return. If you're trading 10 grand per trade, over a 2-month period, Tesla gave you 2 trades, and so therefore it generated around $8,000, not including brokerage. And that's the way that I like to look at it. Again, these are short-term trades, guys. Short-term trades, okay? So, and as you can see, just by applying this analysis all through here, and you can see that once we start to apply these, okay, sideways movement, little break up, and then we have another sideways movement, and then another little break up. Right through there. And it's interesting that this entry signal, as I was saying before, the little breakaway bar, remember I was saying before about the volume? Well, let me just do this here. Let me bring this volume up. This little breakaway bar, notice how this breakaway bar through there, if I bring up my cursor, notice the volume that day. This is the volume. See, this is the volume this day here, down here. So if I bring up my little Dubalaki thing through here, you can see this was the volume. Remember I said before, a volume increase is really, really good. This is what we're looking for in a volume increase. You can see there was actually a volume increase this day here. And then you can see as we started to move up, nice little sideways period, nice little up bar, nice little volume increase, and then away it goes. So you can see what happens when we get these nice sideways, when we actually start to get an upward trend, nice little sideways period through here, as you can see, and then we get a nice little breakaway bar, and then once again, and then away it goes. So there's obviously a lot of different stocks out there that I could analyze, guys. You know, let me just analyze just one more. Let's actually go to Facebook here. Okay, so let's go to Facebook and let's see what Facebook's doing. Again, for the last 3 months here, again, guys, I'm going to repeat myself that when I'm looking for a setup, I look at the sort of the close-up view, and then I'll go to the 12-month view on the daily charts, and then I'll look at the weekly charts, because sometimes you might get a nice little breakaway bar, but that's right at major resistance levels. And that's going to stop you. That's going to probably be a bit of a lesser probability on that trade than if it would if there was no resistance there. So what we're seeing through here, we can see that we're actually in a bit of a sideways period, aren't we? They've got a bit of a gap here and a bit of a run to the upside. This is an earnings gap. So if I'm trying to identify my channels or support or resistance levels or anything like that, this is the last low point through here. So let me see if I can identify some. You know what? I'd probably, if I can draw the trend line down through there, I would probably use that as the trend line. So this would be the trend line through there. Now, why would I use this as the trend line and not something like this? So if I start from the bottom again, remember we start from the lowest low at the last 3 months, and then I'm looking to continue this up. Why would I use this one here as my level that I'll be looking at and not this one here? Well, the reason why I would use it is simply because the market gives me more touches and more bounces. You can see this is only one reference point, meaning the start, and then one bounce. So that's not relevant to where we are right now. It may be in the future where I have to start to change my trend lines. But right now, we can see that we actually had a lot of references point. We had the market came down, found support, and actually broke back above it. We can see we found support on this day. And you see how it's all collected it all through these points, all through here as well. So that'll be the first sort of reference point that I can see that's going on through there. Once again, if I'm trying to see, is there any bit of a channel going on here? Let me see if I can identify some sort of a channel going on through here. And wow, I didn't actually expect that. So as you can see, if I'm bringing up that's actually the major high point up there. Okay, why would I use, say, something like this point through here compared to using the ultimate high point up through here? Why would I use this one here as the channel? As you can see, it was in a bit of a channel compared to this one. Well, as we can see, that by identifying this high point up through here, it's only one point, and now we're referencing in here. But moving on, we can see we had all these references point through here, this point through here, this point, and all through these levels, right through there. You can see how it's actually respected those levels. And you can see we're actually starting to slow, higher low through here. And that's obviously other techniques you can use by reading the markets. But by identifying this, that's the reason why I wouldn't want to use this top line through there. We can see we've actually broken out just now. We've just nicely broken out of this level, and now we're just breaking up right now when it comes to Facebook. So once again, guys, this is how I identify. This is how I look at this is how I look at the markets and look at the markets all the time. And I'm just trying to find, is there a short-term play? Is there maybe like a long-term play? A short-term trade, I'm in and out of it for say 2 to 5 days. More of a long-term play, like I'm actually in a few long-term trades right now. I could be in those trades for a month or two. So depending on the type of trades that I do, that's the way that I do it. Plus also, if you've been watching my last few videos, then you would know that I also have investing type of trades where I'm looking to buy and hold for many years to come. And to do that, I'm looking at those major long-term, big long-term weekly charts to see what's going on through there. So I hope this helps you out, guys, when identifying and understanding how to read the markets and just simplifying the markets in itself, and maybe some very simple sort of entry signals that you can go back and back test it. You know, don't use my word for it. Go back and back test it. It doesn't make a profit every single trade, but around 70% of the time, within 2 to 5 days of what I talked about today, within 2 to 5 days, around 70% will run on for a nice profit. Sometimes they won't. You saw with Tesla, right? Tesla first trade made a loss. Okay, cool. 2 to 5 days, we're out. And then the second trade, that actually made up more for it. So keep your trading really, as you can see, guys, that the more simple your trading get, the better it's going to be for you. I just gave you a very, very simple system. You can see just by applying that, there was 2 trades over the last couple of months when it come to Tesla, and you would have made some nice profits on that overall with having good risk management and so on and so forth. So hey traders, John Howell here. Thanks for watching my video. For a limited time only, I am giving away free access to my brand new trading course. I've put all my most powerful systems, strategies, and trading techniques that I've learned over the last 15 years and put it in this course, and I'm giving it away for free for a limited time. See, in this brand new Go to the Markets by the Board trading course, and you can get it when you go to johnsfreegift.com, you're going to learn, firstly, you're going to get access to a brand new training course for 90 minutes, and you're going to learn all the details step by step to my #1 trading system with over a 90% success rate that works on any market and any time frame. You're also going to learn 3 powerful chart reading and trading techniques. You're also going to learn 2 more powerful trading systems, and also you're going to learn 7-figure trading secrets, mindset techniques, and so much more. There's top 13 mistakes you're going to learn, the 10K per month formula, and so much more. No, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme, but if you are struggling with your trading right now and you need help, then for a limited time, you can get free access to this. So go to johnsfreegift.com right now, or click on the very first thing in the description, because for a limited time, I'm giving away. So go to johnsfreegift.com right now and start getting access to this full complete trading course, plus also the free training with my #1 trading system with over 90% success rate. Go to that right now, and I'll see you on the next page.